This is Chris Morrow at Comic-Con at Home. I'm remotely connected at the Tin Fish in San Diego. The panel is Invader Zim Conquers Everything. Hello.
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 Oh.
Please introduce yourself and tell me where your home is.
Hi, I'm Eric Trueheart. I was a writer, one of the writers on the original Invader Zim cartoon, and also one of the writers on the Oni Press comic. My home is in Los Angeles, California, and there are no tin fish in my house.
I'm Drew Rausch. I was the writer and artist of issue 41 of the Oni Press Invader Zim comic. I live in Pasadena, California.
I am Chris McDonnell. I am the author and designer of the Art of Invader Zim, and I am in Philadelphia.
And I am Aaron Alexovich. I was a character designer on the original Invader Zim series, and the movie, and the comic book. I cannot escape Invader Zim. And I am in Pasadena, California.
Mm-hmm. And I guess that means I'm included as well. I'm Tara Lehman, and I am the publicist with Oni Press. I'm based in Portland, Oregon.
Well, welcome. Happy to have you guys. Please tell me how the panel went.
It seemed to go really well. I didn't watch it, but it went well when I recorded it. So.
Yeah, maybe we should be asking somebody else that.
Yeah.
Did anybody die? Like, I don't know. Have there been reports of death?
I clicked on it.
Bleeding from the eyes.
Comments were disabled, so we have no idea.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that you even had a panel at Comic-Con?
I feel like I had a panel in my living room, and that's a unique experience. So I feel very grateful for that.
Well, this is technically my first Comic-Con panel ever, so I'm pretty excited.
Well, to everyone else then, versus Comic-Con here, do you feel like you captured your audience like you would in person?
It's hard to say because I guess comments were disabled. So
yeah, they could have walked out at exactly the same rate they would walk out on us in person. So I have no way. It's
always very high. Yeah, we get a lot of walkouts for Invader Zim.
We start with about 12 people, and by the time it's over, we're lucky if anyone's left. We're usually talking to ourselves.
Although I will say all the Twitter comments have been really in favor of the panel. Like everybody seems to really love it. In particular, I saw a couple that loved some of the comments that like Eric and Aaron were making during the panel. So it seems to go really well.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, happy to hear that.
And I hope there are no Russian bots like putting the panel down.
I didn't dig that deep.
All right, good.
That was just me.
Yeah, we can count on you to to drag the entire proceedings down into a pit of anger.
I'm the only Russian bot destroying things today.
So what did you guys discuss in the panel?
Well, we discussed Chris's amazing book, and we discussed the Oni comic coming out soon. Aaron has a copy.
Yeah.
Chris, why don't you tell us about the book, since I've forgotten what we said.
Well, I just clicked a few minutes of it, and I do remember one of Alex's comments, which was that he appreciated how dense it is. So it really is full as I could make it, of all the art and information that I could gather and process and lay out in this book. Because there was a lot of it, even though the series was only 1.5 seasons or 1.5 years long, but it really deserves this treatment. So I was happy to be able to be part of that.
Yeah, it went incredibly in depth. It's such a beautiful book. Did you design the book also, Chris?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Jonan and Jenny, you can thank them for this cover.
Yeah, the cover's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I did have a small part in the cover design, but mostly Jonan and Jenny.
The whole thing is a great package. Yeah.
There's art in there I didn't know existed. So now, granted, I dealt mostly in scripts, so there was probably a lot of art that happened that I didn't know existed. But just looking at that makes me kind of nostalgic for the Nickelodeon offices, which is something I never thought I would say, especially not truthfully, but not the offices themselves, but the fact that it's surrounded by so many artists doing so much great work. And it's really cool to see it all in that book. It's astounding.
I saw online there was a book of Zim scripts. Is that's true?
Yes, yeah. I have a book of Zim scripts out. It's available on BookBaby, and it will be eventually available on Amazon when they get their act together. But if you go to BookBaby and look for, I have a book called The Medium-Sized Book of Zim Scripts Volume 1, which collects a bunch of my favorite solo scripts, including Zim Eats Waffles, and it has a lot of sort of behind-the-scenes stories of how these scripts came to be and then what happened to them in production. So look for that on the internets.
Yeah, I think Zim Eats Waffles is still my favorite script of yours from the series. Yeah.
I like the words in it. There's good words in that one.
A lot of great words. Yeah.
I used a lot of good words. And
the most experimental episode, I think.
It was. There's a whole story about it in the book that is. I don't know if now Tara from Oni Press is angry because we're not talking about the comic. We're talking about my book. But if you want to know how hard it is to write an alien who does nothing but eat waffles for an entire 11 minutes, you can find out there.
But you write the comics too, or you? Yeah.
We do. Yes. And I wrote issue 1 of Zim Quarterly. Aaron drew it. And it's an issue devoted entirely to Gur. It's called Gur's Big Day, which is, it's Gur's final day. Gur dies at the end.
Might be.
Yeah. He's
spoilers.
Yeah. Well, it's not the destination. It's the journey. It's the emotional arc of getting to his death. No, it doesn't.
That's
but
true
it's
of all of us.
I guess so. Yeah. We all die at the end. Now you think about it. Wow, this man has turned dark.
Yeah.
Interview's over.
Yeah. Woo! Oh man, I need a drink. Yeah, it's based loosely on a show an idea I pitched for the show, which is that we never see what happens to Gur. He'll turn up with something weird. He'll be in the turkey, or you'll cut away and he's dancing with some girls in a disco. And I wanted to show just an entire adventure that happens to Gur when Zim sends him out basically to get one little pokey thing. But I think he saves the world at least twice during this. No spoilers.
I'm forgetting.
Yeah, and it was the most fun I'd had writing one of these. It was an incredibly joyful experience, and Aaron's art really does credit to it.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to work on. Again, it's like waffles. It's an experimental kind of a thing. It's just it's almost storyless in a way. It's just a bunch of random, bizarre incidents.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of fun to draw.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we've all said a whole bunch of nice stuff about ourselves and each other. What else do you want to ask? Except Drew, we haven't said any things about Drew yet.
That's okay.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
Let's go for it. Let's hear it.
Yeah.
What's the question?
Say something nice about your issue yourself.
About myself? I can't do that.
Yeah. Start with the hat.
You guys are doing great.
That's a great hat,
Thank
Drew.
you. I made this hat.
Really?
I did.
Out of the skins of your enemy.
Yes, and it glows in the dark. My issue was the weird skeleton comes out of Dib issue. That I don't know. It was when Oni asked me to do it or draw an issue. I was like, well, okay, can I do whatever? And they were like, sure. So I was like, all right, I want to do a body horror one, sort of like the Zim episode where Zim steals all the organs. But I just wanted to reverse that, where the skeleton just leaves a body and just decides it's going to have a good day. And it turns out that real life is too hard for skeletons. They need the security blanket of flesh.
It's some beautiful skeleton work you did in that issue.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very nicely done.
We discovered that is that the one where Dib's hair has the bones inside?
Yes.
Of it, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's canon now.
Yeah. I had to ask Aaron that. Yeah. I was like,
How many ribs did you draw?
How many ribs?
Yeah. Did you choose how many cartoon ribs to draw? That's not.
It varied, like from panel to panel. Sometimes it was 3, 4.
Just like Dib.
Yeah.
Like
he doesn't know how many he has.
There is actually no style guide on Dib's skeleton, I don't think. So.
There is? Oh no, there isn't. No. I would have drawn that, I think.
Sorry. Were you going to say something, interviewer Chris? I mean, we've
yes,
taken over the
thank
show.
you very much. I
Yeah.
appreciate the opportunity. So this is a serious question. You know, during the pandemic, do you find yourselves more creative or less creative?
You know, I'm used to working from home anyway, so it's been kind of the same, I think. I've probably produced the same amount of stuff I ever would have. I mean, obviously there's like this crushing depression that's on all of us right now, but you try to work through that, I guess. Just try to have fun, you know, in your own office, doing your own work, and that's how we're getting through it, I guess.
Yeah.
I get a lot accomplished when I'm not screaming.
To be fair,
screaming more or less right now.
Yeah.
When do you usually scream?
At least 23 out of 24 hours.
Oh, well, we caught you at a good time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I fit this into the schedule, no screaming.
Yeah. I always work outside. I always work at coffee shops, and the fact that they're all closed is really making it difficult for me to do that because I have to
no work.
I have to break into them and I have to make sure no one's there so I don't get infected. So no, I do work. It's just, I have to, I see if I can get friends over to wear masks and like talk about random things or work on other people working on screenplays. And, this is Los Angeles. Everyone's working on a screenplay. We all like gaze at each other suspiciously across the room. It's like being in a coffee shop. It's the closest I can get.
I never understood that, the working in the coffee shop thing, but it must work.
It does, I mean, as a writer, I mean, I don't know how you deal with distraction, because distraction's a big part of what can stand in your way.
Yeah.
And so in a coffee shop, your distractions are limited and they're regular. So it gives your brain its distraction quotient, but it's not like I can get up and then, go to the kitchen and start reorganizing, or it's not like my distractions are very narrow in a coffee shop. And it involves like looking at somebody else, asking myself what's wrong with them, going back, saying, no, I'm not going to go on Facebook, and then going back to work. So it's...
Wait, you can do that? You say no to going on Facebook?
It's taken me a decade, and
wow.
I can do it.
Yeah, I just deleted. Oh, no, not... What's the one where you get rid of it, but you don't delete it? You can kind of cop out.
That's
you can do that.
Yeah, let's do
I
that.
think it's deactivated.
Deactivated.
Oh, great.
Nice.
I mean, I heard about the legendary, well, I don't know if the legendary, there was the sessions with Brian Burns and Jonan in the writing of Florpus. They spent a lot of time at a coffee shop, apparently. That's what I learned from the
did.
Yeah.
A lot of writing of Florpus.
Yeah, because Jonan lives near a lot of coffee shops and his house is haunted. So you can't really work there. The walls bleed.
As documented in Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, right?
Yeah. But not in Chris's Zim book, I'm afraid. There's no shots of Jonan's bleeding walls.
Are there not?
Really? Yeah. They were in the first draft, though, weren't they? I mean, a lot of bloody walls. There's a whole bloody wall chapter. I'm imagining that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's an oversight if he didn't.
Yeah. Nickelodeon struck it down. So.
Oh, they'll do that. Yeah.
Typical. Absolutely typical.
Well, on that note, I'm going to thank you guys for interviewing yourselves. I appreciate it. You made my job very easy. Yeah, you made Comic-Con at home a joy. I'm Chris Morrow. It's Comic-Con at home. I'm remotely connected from the Tin Fish. And thank you for my panel. We miss you, and we'll see you next year.
Bye.
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 Bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Enjoy your fish.
Bye.